Beneath the surface, where no eyes wander and no applause resounds, something ancient stirs. You are not lost, you are being rooted. The world may not see you now, but perhaps that is the point. Just as seeds lie hidden before they rise, your stillness is not failure, it is formation. The silence you feel is not the absence of purpose, it is the presence of precision. Life does not rush what it intends to last. In the depths where light does not yet reach, the most intricate becoming unfolds. So stay low, not in defeat, but in devotion. Trust that the quiet seasons carry their own sacred momentum, invisible but unstoppable. You are not behind, you are being prepared, hollowed out so that something vast can pour through. And when the time comes, you will not need to announce your arrival. The world will feel you rise like thunder grown patient in the belly of the earth. Not everything that is growing is visible. The most sacred transformations happen beneath the surface. Just as the roots grow long before the bloom, your journey in silence is not stagnation. It is preparation. You are becoming even now. The modern world worships movement, speed, noise, but there is ancient intelligence in staying low, watching, listening, aligning with the deeper rhythm. Stillness is how rivers learn their direction before they flow. Before the fruit ripens, it is hidden in the shade. Before the fire rises, it gathers quietly. In the early stages, protection often looks like invisibility. You are not being overlooked. You are being preserved. Every delay, every closed door, every quiet day is a divine sculptor shaping you with unseen hands. The tension you feel is not a sign to quit. It is a necessary tension stretching you to hold what's coming. True power comes from within. When you build without an audience, you build without an audience. You build without your integrity, your clarity, your alignment. These become the unseen pillars that make you unshakable when the spotlight arrives. When the time comes, you won't need to convince anyone. The rise will be natural, undeniable, and divinely timed. You won't have to shout. Like the dawn, like spring, like destiny unfolding on time. Not everything that is growing needs to be seen. In fact, some of the most essential movements in life occur beneath the surface, out of sight, beyond applause. We often confuse visibility with progress, thinking that if we aren't seen, we aren't becoming. But look closer at the earth, at the seasons, at the way the universe works. The tree does not rush to bloom. The seed does not scream while it splits open in the dark. These things move in silence, in depth, in devotion to something greater than visibility. You are no different. There are times when life places you in what feels like a waiting room, where nothing moves fast enough. Where plans stall, where your light seems dim, your voice unheard. And in those moments, it's easy to believe something is wrong, that you're falling behind, missing out, losing pace with the world around you. But perhaps you are not falling behind at all, or perhaps you're falling inward. Perhaps the delays are not punishment, but alignment. Perhaps the slowness is not a curse, but a correction. Have you ever watched how roots grow? How they push deeper into the soil before a single leaf appears above ground. The root system must anchor itself wide and deep enough to hold what will rise. The greater the tree, the deeper the roots. So if you feel buried right now, if you feel unseen, forgotten, or overlooked, it may simply mean your roots are still growing. And roots are not glamorous, they don't get celebrated. But they are what make the rise sustainable. Without roots, the first gust of wind topples the tallest oak. There is something sacred about your current quietness, a divine intelligence unfolding in silence. The very stillness you resist is likely the cradle of your becoming. And yet, we try to rush it. We crave the spotlight. We ache for recognition, but if you're praised too soon, if you bloom before your roots are ready, that light can burn you. Visibility without foundation leads to collapse. But when you've done the inner work, when you've sat with yourself in the long nights, questioned, cried, realigned, humbled, then you rise not out of desperation, but out of inevitability. Like a tide pulled by a silent moon. What's happening in you now is not a pause. It is not empty time. It is a preparation so precise that your conscious mind cannot yet comprehend it. Life is weaving something far more intricate than your current eyes can see. Trust that. Trust the silence. Trust the slow seasons. There is wisdom in the dark. There is purpose in being hidden. There is purpose in being hidden. The butterfly cannot emerge before the cocoon has done its work. This is your cocoon time. And it's okay that it doesn't look like much from the outside. That's the point. You're not here to impress. You're here to transform. There's a vast difference between appearing strong and actually becoming strong, between looking the part and being the part. This stage of your life is not for performance. It's for planting, for quiet revolutions beneath the skin. And one day, when it's time, you will break through the soil, not as someone who was waiting, but as someone who was building all along. The world won't understand how you rose so steady, so sure, but you'll know. You'll know it wasn't sudden. You'll know it wasn't luck. You'll know it was because you stayed low until the roots could hold the rise. The world around you is in a hurry. Everyone is rushing toward something, more success, more noise, more recognition. It's a kind of madness, really, this collective sprint toward an undefined peak, as though life is a mountain that must be conquered before the sun sets. But you're being asked to stay low, to pause, to listen. And perhaps you've begun to wonder if this stillness means you're falling behind. You aren't. You're falling inward. You see, there's a quiet wisdom in slowing down, in resisting the demand to constantly perform or produce. When you stop moving with the herd, you begin to hear the rhythm underneath. The older music, the one playing just beneath the surface of things. It is slow, gentle, intentional, and if you listen closely, you'll notice something remarkable. Nothing in nature is in a rush, and yet everything arrives on time. The tree doesn't panic through winter, worrying whether it will bloom again. The moon doesn't force its phases. Rivers don't rush to the ocean. They follow their own curve shaped by the land, by time, by gravity's silent guidance, and somehow without pressure, without hustle, they always find their way. What if you too are being shaped not by speed, but by surrender? Staying low is not weakness. Staying low is not weakness. It is the posture of something that is listening, something that understands there is a difference between momentum and meaning. Anyone can move quickly. Few can move consciously. Few can sit in stillness long enough to allow life to move through them, instead of constantly trying to move against it. This pause you're in, this strange season where nothing seems loud or visible to the void, it's the womb. It's the space where identity softens and truth begins to emerge, not as a product of effort, but as a revelation. You begin to realize that clarity is not something you chase. It's something that unfolds when you're quiet enough to receive it. In fact, much of what we call confusion is just noise, inner noise from outer expectations. And noise doesn't solve itself through more activity. It dissolves in presence, in stillness. So if you find yourself unsure of your next step, perhaps you don't need to run harder. Perhaps you need to root deeper. Stay low, not because you're hiding, but because you're listening, you're observing, you're waiting for the right alignment before you move. Move. And this is not cowardice, it's precision. You are choosing not to scatter your energy in all directions. You are choosing to gather it, hold it, refine it, so that when you move, it will be true. And truth, once refined, doesn't need a megaphone. It speaks through the weight of presence. You'll find as you wait in the stillness that you are not less powerful here. You are simply more focused, more intentional, more whole. You're becoming the kind of person who doesn't just react to the world, but responds from a place that's rooted, quiet, clear. And that kind of presence is rare. It's what makes people lean in without knowing why, because stillness has a gravity of its own. So do not mistake stillness for being stuck. Do not confuse waiting with weakness. You are not stagnant. You are settling into yourself, like the earth before spring, like the ocean before a wave. Like breath before speech, and when it's time to rise, you won't need to announce it. You often wonder why no one sees you, why the doors stay closed, why the world moves on without noticing what you're becoming. It's tempting in these moments to believe that something has gone wrong, that the silence is a verdict, that invisibility is punishment. But consider for a moment, what if this concealment is not neglect, but protection? Protection. The sacred, you see, always begins in shadow. The womb is dark. Yeah. The soil is silent. Even galaxies are born in invisible collisions, far from any gaze. There is an intelligence to this design, a pattern of incubation woven into the fabric of life itself. You are not meant to be seen too soon. Not because you are unworthy, but because what is real, what is holy, must be protected as it forms. Think of the fruit before it ripens. It hides beneath leaves, not to withhold, but to mature in safety. To be seen prematurely is to be picked before you're ready. And so life, in its deep knowing, shields what still needs time. It covers you in obscurity, not to diminish you, but to preserve the integrity of what's unfolding. You are not behind. You are being guarded. There's a curious wisdom in this waiting, though it rarely feels wise while you're inside it. It feels like being forgotten, like watching others bloom while you are left beneath the canopy, untouched by light. But the sun knows what it's doing. It shines only when the roots are strong enough to hold the bloom. Otherwise, the beauty collapses under its own weight. We live in a world that rushes revelation, a world that teaches us to be visible, loud, seen. But what is loud is not always lasting, and what is seen too soon is often undone too soon. There's a reason the pearl forms inside the shell, the diamond beneath the earth, the truth inside the quiet heart. Charity, to be unseen is not to be unloved. It is to be forming. And yes, it can feel lonely. It can feel like your voice echoes back to you unanswered, like your efforts vanish into the void. But the void is not empty. It is the womb of potential. That silence you're hearing isn't lack, it's gestation. The work you're doing, the strength you're building, the clarity you're cultivating, all of it is being wrapped in sacred stillness so that when the moment comes, you can rise with depth, not just height, because you weren't made to flare brightly and burn out. You were made to endure, and not to endure. And endurance requires delay, protection, privacy. You cannot rush the eternal. You cannot mass produce the sacred. That which is destined must be distilled, slowly, patiently, beneath the surface. So the next time you feel unseen, remember, you're not invisible, you're invincible in the making. You are under divine camouflage, hidden not from purpose, but for it. You're being tempered in the quiet so that when the noise arrives, it doesn't shake you. You're being grounded so that when you rise, you don't fall. You are not just waiting for your time. You're not just waiting for your time. Your time is waiting for you to be whole enough, still enough, deep enough to carry what is meant for you. And when that time arrives, there will be no need for fanfare. You will emerge naturally, effortlessly, like the sun crossing the horizon. And no one will ask if you're ready. They will simply feel your arrival like thunder that has always been building.